Welcome back to 90 Plus 1, I'm your boy Lispy Kieran, and let's get straight into not quite 100 facts about Chelsea Football Club. Although first of all, shout out to my boy Siez Ayed, if that's how you pronounce it, with the Chelsea spam. You've made it happen, mate. Well done. 1. Chelsea were founded 112 years ago in 1905. 2. The club is actually based in Fulham rather than Chelsea, but I think that distance is acceptable. 3. Chelsea have only ever played at Stamford Bridge. It opened in 1877 and was used solely for the London Athletic Club. Local businessman Gus Mears and his brother bought the site and created Chelsea Football Club specifically to play in it. 4. However, initially they tried to lease the ground to Fulham, but they turned it down for financial reasons. 5. Stamford Bridge's pitch and turnstiles, as well as Chelsea's naming rights, are owned by Chelsea Pitch Owners, a non-profit organisation made up of fans. To be able to use the name Chelsea FC, the club has to play its first team matches at Stamford Bridge. So if Chelsea were to ever move elsewhere, they could be forced to change their name. 6. The club have considered moving elsewhere, once having a bid for Battersea Power Station knocked back. However, they've decided to stay at Stamford Bridge for the foreseeable future and have been given permission to renovate the stadium to 60,000 fans. 7. Chelsea's first badge was a terrifying image of a Chelsea pensioner. 8. Chelsea's first kit wasn't dark blue, but it was actually a shade called Eton Blue, worn with white shorts and dark blue socks. 9. It wasn't until the 1960s that Chelsea settled on the now recognisable royal blue shirt and shorts paired with white socks. 10. Chelsea have won England's top division 6 times, with 5 of the titles coming after Roman Abramovich plied them with some of that juicy Soviet oil money. 11. They've also won the FA Cup 7 times and the League Cup 5 times. Oh, and 4 of these useless things. Are we still counting these? Like, what's the point? 12. They were the first English team to qualify for the European Cup. After winning the First Division in 1955, they turned down the invite after the FA convinced them not to participate. 13. They were the first London-based team to win the UEFA Champions League. 14. However, they were the first Champions League holders to get knocked out in the group stage in the year after winning the trophy. 15. They were the first English team to win all 4 UEFA competitions. 16. Their first FA Cup win was in 1970, where they required a replay against Leeds to win. The first game was at Wembley, whereas the replay was at Old Trafford. 17. In 1982, Chelsea were having extreme money problems, so Ken Bates managed to buy them for just £1. 18. In 2003, Bates sold Chelsea to Roman Abramovich for £140 million. Not a bad return, is it, mate? 19. The Russian money train began to flow, with Abramovich spending £150 million on players in his first summer. That's compared to Chelsea spending bugger all the season before. 20. Chelsea didn't make a profit in the first 9 years under Abramovich. In 2012, they finally made a profit of £1.4 million. 21. They've completed 6 trophy doubles in their lifetime. 22. Tommy Law and Ken Sholito are the only 2 players to spend their entire careers at the club. 23. Chelsea have a chant about celery which goes, "Celery, celery, if she don't I'll tickle her bum with a lump of celery." I have no idea how to follow that up, to be honest. Moving on. The chant dates back to the 1980s and eventually led to Chelsea fans throwing celery just pretty much anywhere. 25. In 2007, the vegetable-related festivities came to a head when a huge amount was thrown at Cesc Fabregas during corner kicks in the Carling Cup final. Chelsea put out a statement telling supporters they could be refused entry if caught with celery and would be banned if caught throwing it. 26. Chelsea fans were strongly associated with football hooliganism in the 70s and 80s. This led Chairman Ken Bates to propose installing an electric fence to deter people from getting on the pitch. The council obviously said no. 27. In 2012, a survey found that Chelsea fans consider Tottenham to be their main rival, followed by Arsenal and Manchester United. 28. They also have a long-standing rival with Leeds United, which dates back to the 1970s. However, they have only played each other once in the past 10 years, with Chelsea winning 5-1. 29. Scotsman David Calderhead is their longest-serving manager with 966 games. 30. Jose Mourinho is the most successful manager in terms of trophies, winning 8 honours with the club. 31. Chelsea's first ever manager was John Tate Robertson in 1905. 32. Their first ever manager to win a trophy was Ted Drake. winning the First Division in 1954-55. 33. In total, Chelsea have had 27 permanent managers during their existence so far. 34. Chelsea have spent more than 50 million on a player on 2 separate occasions. 35. The Torres purchase broke the English record at the time, just a few hours after Liverpool broke the record for buying Andy Carroll. 36. Chelsea have sold 2 players over £50 million, with Oscar leaving for £54 million and Diego Costa about to leave for £59.4 million. 37. The Blues currently have 34 players on loan to other clubs, with 5 of them at rival Premier League clubs. 38. So far, the most money they've made from selling an academy graduate was £20.5 million for Nathan Ake. 39. 11 players have left and rejoined Chelsea, with Graham Lasso, Matic, Drogba and David Luiz being the most notable. 40. Sergio Aguero, big up my main man, love you, never leave us, please, is currently the club's most feared player, scoring 10 and assisting 3 in just 15 games against them. 41. They may fear Aguero, but they don't fear his mate Messi, who's failed to score against them in 8 meetings. 42. Ivory Coast is the highest scoring foreign nationality for Chelsea, with 232 goals being scored between just 2 players. 43. French players have made the most foreign appearances for the club, with 1,385 appearances between 16 players. 44. Scottish players are the most popular foreign nationality in Chelsea's history, with 43 players. 45. Chelsea legend, Frank Lampard, has scored the most penalties for them, scoring 56 and missing 10. 46. The only player to have taken at least 10 penalties and scored 100% of them is Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank with 12 in 12. 47. In Chelsea's past 12 penalty shootouts, they've only won 3 of them. 48. The most penalties they've scored in a season was 14 in 2012-13. 49. Chelsea have had the most shots on target in the Premier League since it started, with 2,496. 50. Chelsea have the record for most points in a season, with 95 in 2004-05. 51. Michy Batshuayi doesn't only have a cool name, he has the best goals per minute ratio of any player to have made 20 Premier League appearances, averaging a goal every 60 minutes. 52. Frank Lampard is Chelsea's all-time top scorer with 211 goals. 53. The team's biggest win was 13-0 against Juventus against this team in the 71-72 Cup Winners' Cup. 54. They also won the first leg 8-0 in that fixture, making the 21-0 aggregate score the current record in European competition. 55. Their biggest loss was Frank Lampard putting on a better shade of blue, but in real terms their biggest loss was 7-0 against Nottingham Forest in 1991. 56. A Chelsea record of 105,826 people watched Chelsea vs Real Madrid in the lovely land of the US of A in 2016. 57. Unofficially, their highest home attendance was an estimated 100,000 against Dynamo Moscow in 1945, but officially it was 82,905 against Arsenal in 1935. 58. Chelsea's first ever match was a 1-0 loss to Stockport County in 1905. Goalkeeper William Falk saved a penalty. Hell, there's no guessing how he kept that one out. 59. Their first win came 2 days later against Liverpool in a friendly match. 60. They were the first team to win the FA Cup in the new Wembley, beating Manchester United in 2007. 61. In the 2009-10 season, they scored a load of goals, 103 to be exact, becoming the first team to score at least 100 goals in a season. 62. They share the record Premier League win with themselves, with 2 8-0 scorelines against Wigan and Aston Villa. 63. They kept a record 34 clean sheets in just 59 matches in 2004-05. 64. However, they also kept the fewest clean sheets in one season, with only 2 in 1960-61. 65. Our last clean sheet fact is that Petr Cech has kept the most clean sheets for Chelsea with 228. 66. The Blues player with the most appearances is Ron Harris, turning out for Chelsea 795 times. 67. The most consecutive league appearances for Chelsea was Frank Lampard, featuring 164 games in a row from 2001 to 2005. 68. Juan Mata, Oscar and Torres made a club record 64 appearances in a single season in 2012-13. 69. The most senior player to play for them was Mark Schwarzer at 41 years old and 218 days. 70. The player closest to the date that they fell out of their mum, or in other words, the youngest player, that has played for Chelsea was Ian Hamilton at just 16 years and 138 days in 1967. 71. Chelsea broke the record for most wins in a season in 2016-17 with 30. 72. Chelsea also have the record for the longest unbeaten home run in the English top division, lasting 86 matches from 2004 until 2008. 73. Chelsea were the first team, along with Arsenal, to play with numbers on their shirts, back in 1928. 74. They were also the first English team to travel by aeroplane to a domestic away match, visiting the lovely Newcastle. It's actually lovely in Newcastle, go there, back in 1957. 75. Before Super Sunday, all we had was Sunday. Nonetheless, Chelsea were the first team to kick off on a Sunday back in 1974. 76. In 1999, Chelsea became the first British side to field an entirely foreign starting lineup in a Premier League game. 77. Chelsea's current shirt sponsor is worth £40 million per year, the second highest in the Premier League. 78. Chelsea have a women's team that has been affiliated with the club since 2004. Who's the president of it? John Terry. That sounds like a horrendous problem for the HR department. 79. Frank Lampard and Eden Hazard have won Chelsea's Player of the Year award the most times, with 3 each. 80. In 1972, the Chelsea squad sang Blue as the colour, and it reached number 5 in the charts. 81. Chelsea's badge features on Team Sauber's Formula 1 car. 82. In 2005, someone stole Chelsea's mascot costume from Stamford Bridge. 83. There's a dedicated Chelsea pub in the capital of Uzbekistan called Ye Old Chelsea Arms. 84. Chelsea played a game in the Arctic Circle in 1997, losing 3-2 to part-timers Tromsø. 85. In 2006, Chelsea had 3 different players in goal in one match. Cech fractured his skull and Kudachini got knocked out, which left John Terry to don the gloves for his final few minutes. Chelsea won 1-0. 86. In 2015-16, they had a club record 21 different goal scorers. 87. On 2 separate occasions, they've had 7 different scorers in one game. In their 13-0 win against this team again, and also in the 8-0 win against Aston Villa. 88. In the match back in 1954, Chelsea's second goal was officially recorded as being scored by 2 people. 89. In 1970, Alan Hudson hit a shot that hit the outside of the goal and spun back onto the pitch. The referee incorrectly awarded Chelsea a goal. 90. In 1956, when penalties weren't a thing and games were replayed until there was a winner, Chelsea and Burnley took 4 games before one of the teams eventually won. 91. The most red cards they've achieved in a season was 8 in 2007-08. Although to be fair, 1 was rescinded on appeal. And that is it. Tweet or comment me your video suggestions. Tell me if you managed to get to this bit where I chat absolute crap. Check out our other videos, subscribe, and don't forget to hashtag... no, wait, no, don't do that.